When it pertains to living a life on mission, we have to realize that our own personal story actually matters. Uh, Revelation 12 talks about we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, the word of our testimony, and basically not shrinking from death because we know that we're in Him. And Jesus says, for those who believe in me will never die. And so we will never die. But your life story actually matters. It can change a life. You might think, my story is blah, or it's not like I was once addicted and now I've been set free or whatever. But your story is unique to you. And your story is going to speak to those in your sphere of influence, those who are around you, because they know you and they've seen the transformation that God has made in your life. And so when you tell your story, especially when you tell people, when they talk to you and they're like, man, you just carry such peace. And you're like, well, I didn't always used to carry this peace. Let me tell you, there was a time that I was always worried and you just keep going on. But I encountered the peace of Christ. And I realized that I can actually trust God and He has my life in His hands and He's a good Father. And see what you just did in that moment is you shared your testimony that connected with somebody. And all of a sudden they realize, man, I want what you have. Can you tell me about this Jesus? So living a life on mission is recognizing that your story is important. It's unique to you. It matters and it needs to be told. So I want to encourage you to create two different kinds of testimonies this week or throughout your time. I want you to, one, create a basic testimony of what was your life like before you met Jesus? How did you encounter Jesus? And what is your life like now that you've encountered Him? And then write a second testimony or multiple testimonies where you talk about things like, man, I used to have anxiety, but now I have peace. And talk about, well, what gave you peace? How did you encounter Jesus in that? And how did that transform the way you thought? Or, I have testimonies of finances and how there were seasons where it was like, I didn't know I was going to get my tires replaced. So we got down on our knees as a family and said, Father, can you give us the finances for the tires we need? And lo and behold, the day we go to get our tires, new tires, I felt like I needed to check the mail. And when I did, there was a check for exactly like all but maybe $10 of what it cost to replace 4 tires on our vehicle. And I have multiple other testimonies of other things of breakthrough and how God answered this prayer and God prepared me for that. And so do you too. If you really start looking at your life story, you recognize God answered this prayer and then He answered that prayer. God showed up for this and He showed up for that. So share your story. It matters and it will change a life. There is power in your story. There's power in your testimony. There's power in your life because you live it in Jesus.